Well, the secretary of the jury will now read the conclusions of the jury.
We, the chairman, secretary, and the members of the Committee of Examiners of the Faculty of Engineering of the Vrije Universiteit Brussel, appointed to conduct the examination leading to the degree of Doctor in Engineering. Whereas Mr. Shahid Satti, born at Rawalpindi, Pakistan, on the 2nd of November 1980, received the Diploma Master of Science in Communication Engineering. Whereas the person concerned has submitted an original doctoral thesis entitled Scalable Single and Multiple Description Scalar Quantization, where it was defended by the candidate in a public session on the 5th of July 2012 at the Vrije Universiteit Brussel. Whereas the candidate has undergone the complete examination with the greatest distinction, have conferred and has conferred to Mr. Shahid Satti the degree of Doctor in Engineering.
Thank you.
Whereas we confirm that the legal stipulation and requirements regarding the universities of the Flemish community have been complied with. At Brussels, 5th of July 2000.
Very well. Well, this concludes the defense. I'm sure that probably Mahmood has a word also.
Shahid, so a few words about you, Shahid, for those that know you more or less. So, Shahid came to us in January 2008, so 4 years and a half or so. He finished his studies in Taxila, Pakistan. I remember looking for people then for a new project. It was a new SBO project around 3D graphics compression. So we were having the plan to challenge the state of the art at that time. So the state of the art was there for 10 years. It was time to challenge it. That was the idea of the project, and I was looking for people with a good theoretical background, being really interested in the subject and the topic. Well, I got then Shahid Satti and Leon Denis, his colleague. They worked together in this project. At some point, Shahid became a work package leader, so they both did run the project together. I could really delegate the work, even if they were not postdoc, or they were just experienced researchers. I must say that also Shahid had a master in communication systems from Technical University of München, and he came here with recommendation from Professor Eckhard Steinbach. So he's a very famous name from Munich. So that was a very good recommendation he came with. And okay, the interview was there, but it was rather a formality, I'd say. So he started working with Leon in this project and in this topic. And well, actually we attacked every possible module in this system. Shahid took a theoretical kind of side. I mean, what kind of coding design should we follow? And he performed statistical analysis, so the analysis of statistical dependency with the coefficients. He came with new models based on which designs have been made. So this was confirmed practically, and everything was successful, ending with a 90-bit transaction on multimedia paper. Now, even everything was nice and pink at the time, he was like telling me after this that he wants something else. And knowing his communications background, we agreed to go for a deeply theoretical subject, and that was actually error-resilient coding based on EMDSQs. So such quantizers existed out there. We had students before working on this topic, but we didn't know how to make them optimal or optimized. So first we had to define optimality, and then we had to see how to design them. And we said, okay, let's focus on this theoretical subject and try to do this. It was an experiment for me as well, in the sense that we wanted a fully theoretical work without an experimental background. Or the most we wanted to do there was MATLAB. MATLAB simulations. So I must say, we published in Title Transactional Signal Processing, which is a very, very good journal. And the coding we had to put together was really minimal. So it is possible. I mean, the work has deep fundamental grounds, and it is thanks to Shahid that the work is there. As he did not point it out sufficiently, I would say, his methodology for embedded quantizer design can be extended for other metrics in other applications as well. And he'll be working with two of our collaborators in this direction in our lab. So I would say that he's a very pleasant to work with person, a researcher. He's very talented. He's very calm. I mean, he's a cool guy. You cannot destabilize him. And well, we look forward to work further in the future. He will stay as a postdoc with us, and it will be a pleasure to have him in our lab in the future. Thank you, Shahid, for your results.
I would also like to thank a few people who were directly or indirectly involved with my PhD or with my research work. And in every PhD student's life, there comes a time where he thinks that he probably never finish. But you know, I didn't stop working because I had so many people around me that supported me and they believed in my capabilities. And here I would like to thank all of them, especially I would like to thank all my colleagues at the Electro department who supported me throughout these PhD tenure. Especially I would like to thank Frederick Verbiest, Bruno Cornelis, and Dan Maxine, and Roxandra Flora. And these people, and Leon Dennis, of course, and who was my colleague in building everything. So I would really like to appreciate that effort towards my PhD. Also, I would like to thank Karin De Bruyne, the Secretary of Electro Department, because she took care of the administrative aspects of my PhD. And since we work at Planland 9, so there I also would like to thank Anne van Bellingen and Evelyn Broms for also taking care of the day-to-day office matters. I would also like to thank my friend that came from Leuven to support me in my PhD defense, and it's because of the love and support of these people that I'm living in Leuven, not in Brussels. I would like to also thank the officials of Pakistani Embassy in Belgium for coming and supporting me. Thank you very much, sir. And I would also like to thank especially my wife. She could not be here today because she had to go back to Pakistan for taking her exams. So I still have to take my PhD defense in front of her, of course, my real PhD defense, and for her support during all these years. And you know, as a PhD student, it's very difficult to go back at 5 o'clock back to your home. So I was, I could not give her a lot of time, but hopefully now it'll be okay, depending upon, of course, the nature of our work in the future. And especially my parents, I would like to thank. I told you in the start that my father told me to do something meaningful in my life, but I didn't tell you what my mother said. So my mother asked my father that how many meaningful things you did in your life. So yesterday I called my father and I told him that look, I am finishing my PhD, and he told me that I don't know what you were doing, but you were doing it great. I know that. So throughout this PhD tenure, they have supported me. They have given me the freedom of choice. It's not optimal to live here so far from your family, but they have given me this freedom to make this PhD possible for me. Also, I would like to finally thank all the jury members. Especially, I would like to thank Professor Rick Bintoran and Professor Leuven Bezen. We had a very short interaction, but the interaction we had was that they helped me out with these changes and these modifications of my PhD thesis, and they were very helpful in that. I would like to thank Professor Peter Shelkin, who is one of my promoters, for giving me the opportunity to join the Optima project, which helped me learn a lot of things about how we work in a team-oriented environment. I would like to thank Professor Jan Cornelis. I really respect Professor Jan Cornelis for his contributions towards the department. Our department is split into two pieces. One is in Planland 9 and one is in KE. And the connection between these two pieces is Professor Jan Cornelis. I would also like to thank Professor Jan Cornelis for taking out time for reading my publications before we submitted them, and of course in the revision phase also. And I would also like to thank our young professor, Professor Jan Lemaire. I hope I did not disappoint him, because I am the first PhD student in which jury he is a jury member, and Professor and Dr. Yuri Barbrine, and again for the contributions that he has done to the field of image and video compression. and the things that he was very helpful in his remarks, in a sense that initially I did not understand some of them, but he explained me, and his remarks actually made the quality of my thesis much more better than what it originally was. And the last but not the least, the person who at least you can give 50% credit of this PhD is Professor Adrian Montiano, and his personality was always a constant source of inspiration for me. And I mean, the amount of ideas that he generated in the first phase of my PhD, it was difficult for me to take every of them and work on every of them. But indeed, it was always good to have support. Good to have him supporting you with ideas, not only with words but with ideas. And before Professor Adrian, I only knew two kind of promoters: the good promoters and the bad promoters, of course. But now I know a great promoter actually, and this is because of his support and his belief in me that today I have achieved this goal. And I thank all of you also for taking out time for coming and attending this defense. I tried to make it as light as possible for you, and I think Professor Quintalon said that it was okay to understand. I hope for some of you. Thank you very much.